Breaking news. The United States Naval Base makes a triumphant return to the Philippines after decades. The scrolling headline lit up screens from Manila to Washington, helicopters rumbled overhead, and reporters jostled for the best view at the base's gates. Cameras flashed as workers, in hard hats, rushed to finish new buildings. The air buzzed with excitement and tension. It was not just another news day. The reopening of a former United States naval base marked a turning point for Philippine-U.S. relations. Old flags were dusted off and new ones unfurled. A sense of history and urgency filled the air. Military trucks with fresh paint gleaming rumbled down the road. Inside the base, American and Filipino troops shook hands and posed for photos. Outside, crowds gathered to watch. Some cheered, some waved signs, and really, everyone seemed to know this was history in the making. As breaking news alerts chimed on smartphones worldwide, one thing was clear. The United States was back, and with it, a new era was beginning in the Pacific. The story of this base began long ago. It was once the largest United States naval installation in Asia. For decades, it stood as a symbol of American might and partnership with the Philippines. Its docks welcomed ships from across the Pacific, and its airstrips buzzed with planes, always ready. But history took a sharp turn in the early 1990s. The Cold War ended, local politics shifted, and many Filipinos called for greater independence. In 1992, after much debate, the Philippine Senate voted to end the U.S. military presence, closing the base. American troops packed up and left. The once bustling base became quiet. Nature began to reclaim the runways, and buildings sat empty. Memories lingered. Some locals missed the jobs and sense of security the base brought, while others felt proud to reclaim their land and their future. For years, the old base seemed like a relic, but global events, new threats, rising tensions, would one day make it important again. The first hints of the base's return came quietly. Rumors swirled in local newspapers and talks in Washington and Manila grew more serious. Then, with the world watching, leaders made it official. The base would reopen, this time as part of a new partnership. The announcement was dramatic. The Philippine president and United States officials stood side by side. Cameras flashed as they signed documents, their faces serious but hopeful. The message was clear. Old allies were coming together again for a new era. The plans were bold. The base would not simply reopen, it would be modernized. It would become a center for joint training, disaster response, and security operations. Ships would dock, planes would fly, and soldiers from both nations would work together. In that moment, the past and future seemed to collide. The base was coming alive once more, ready to face new challenges in a rapidly changing world. At the heart of this comeback is a massive $1.5 billion deal. The United States and the Philippines agreed on a sweeping modernization plan. The money would bring state-of-the-art technology, new facilities, and advanced weaponry to the base. Engineers and architects pored over blueprints. Old barracks would be rebuilt, docks would be strengthened to handle the latest warships, and satellite links and radar systems would be upgraded. The goal, to create a base ready for modern threats. Training centers would feature simulators and classrooms. Filipino troops would receive cutting-edge training from their American counterparts. Local industries prepared to supply everything from food to construction materials, eager for new business. This deal wasn't just about equipment, it was about trust, investment, and a shared commitment to security. The $1.5 billion price tag signaled how high the stakes and hopes really were. The weeks after the announcement saw a flurry of activity. Bulldozers roared as runways were resurfaced. Shipyards echoed with the clang of metal. New housing for troops sprang up, painted in fresh camouflage green and tan. The base was transforming before everyone's eyes. American and Filipino soldiers drilled side by side. Marching feet pounded the parade grounds. Officers barked orders in English and Tagalog. Training exercises simulated everything from disaster relief to naval battles. The sound of helicopters became a daily rhythm. Meanwhile, diplomats and military leaders met in conference rooms. Maps were unrolled, strategies debated. The mood was serious but optimistic. They knew the world was watching every handshake, every agreement. Outside the gates, vendors sold snacks and souvenirs to curious onlookers. The base, once quiet and forgotten, now buzzed with energy and hope. For both countries, the reopened base is more than just a military asset. For the Philippines, it means stronger defenses. It means being able to respond faster to disasters, typhoons, earthquakes, or emergencies at sea. It also means more jobs and new skills for Filipino workers. For the United States, the base is a vital foothold in the Pacific. It allows American ships and planes to patrol key sea lanes. It provides a platform for training and cooperation with allies. It sends a clear message: the United States is committed to defending its friends and interests in Asia. Together, both nations can respond to threats more quickly. They can share intelligence, coordinate missions, and build trust. The base is a symbol, but it is also a practical tool for keeping the peace. Security experts say the base will make the region safer. Pirates, smugglers, and hostile forces will think twice before causing trouble. Reactions to the base's return have been, well, pretty passionate. Locally, some people cheered. They welcomed the jobs, the business, and that sense of safety. "We feel protected," said one shop owner. "Our town is alive again." Others, though, worried about noise, crowds, and, honestly, losing their land. Environmental groups voiced concerns about pollution. Around the world, allies praised the move. Japan and Australia called it a win for regional security. The European Union released a statement of support. But not everyone was pleased. China's leaders issued stern warnings, calling the base a provocation. Protests erupted outside embassies in Beijing and Manila. Social media, of course, lit up with debates. Supporters posted videos of flag-raising ceremonies. Critics shared photos of protests and old memories. The story was on every front page, every news feed. Despite all the noise, most people agreed on one thing: the base's return had changed the region, and there was just no going back. The reopening of the base is already shaking up the balance of power in Asia. For years, countries in the region watched as tensions grew in the South China Sea. Fishing boats clashed, islands were built up and militarized, neighbors worried about conflict. Now, with the United States and the Philippines working closely, the message is clear: the Pacific is not up for grabs. The base gives both nations a platform to watch, respond, and deter aggression. It reassures smaller countries who feel caught between bigger powers. Military analysts say the base could host multilateral exercises, drawing in other allies. It could help stop pirates, fight smuggling, and even aid in search and rescue. The presence of American forces brings stability, but also risk. Some fear it could spark tensions. Still, most agree, the base's return is a game changer, and the effects will be felt far beyond Philippine shores. For people living near the base, life has changed overnight. Streets once quiet are now busy with trucks and workers. New shops and restaurants are opening. Real estate prices are climbing. Some families are thrilled by the economic boom. "My husband found work at the base after years of searching," said a local mother. Yet not everyone is happy. Some worry about rising rents and crowded schools. Others fear the return of old problems: pollution, traffic, and noise. Community leaders are organizing meetings. They want to make sure local voices are heard. The base also brings new opportunities. Schools plan to teach English and technical skills. Hospitals are getting upgrades. Local businesses hope to win contracts for supplies and services. Young people dream of better futures. As the base grows, so too does hope for a brighter future, but also concern about how to keep the balance. The return of the United States Naval Base is more than just a news story. It is a sign of changing times, new alliances, and shared hopes. Leaders promise that this partnership will bring peace, stability, and progress to the region. They say the base will help both nations face whatever comes next. For ordinary people, the future feels uncertain but full of promise. New jobs, better schools, and community projects are on the horizon. But so are big questions about safety, sovereignty, and the environment. As the sun sets over the newly revived base, ships glide into port and planes soar overhead. The world watches and waits. One thing is clear: the story of this base is far from over. Its next chapter will shape the fate of the Pacific for years to come.